I'm asked to take this session on regression analysis. Most of the participants might have gone through the research methodology and statistics in their syllabus in the classroom teaching, and theory part of the regression analysis would have been easier for them. So I shall try to make this session more pragmatic. Pragmatic in the sense, how do we use regression analysis in writing thesis or writing papers and all. So during this session, I will be covering 5 major aspects. Like we'll try to explain the meaning and concept of regression that you might be knowing already, then types of regression, how do we represent graphically the relationship, then statistical method of calculation, means how do we analyze regression, and how do we report in our thesis or in research paper. This would be the broad topic of this session. Now, what is research? Research is nothing but a process of finding facts from the figure. If research is finding facts from the figure, it means it is simply input and output process. Input, processed, and ultimately some output comes. So it is basically, research is basically input, throughput, and output process. This throughput is nothing but the analysis part of the research. What techniques, tools do we apply on the available data to get fruitful information out of it? This is the research. Now, it simply means that for carrying out research, we need to have data, figures. This data can be univariate. Univariate in the sense, suppose you have been asked to find out the average height of the student enrolled in the UG program of Ramanujan University College, or you may be asked to check the average job satisfaction of the teachers teaching in a college or university, or suppose you have been asked to check the general IQ of the students studying in UG program. So all these sort of variables are referred as univariate because there is some single variable that you are trying to understand. When there is more than one variable in the study, generally bivariate or multivariate, we commonly refer it as multivariate analysis. In multivariate analysis, we try to understand two things: whether there is any sort of relationship between the variables or among the variables under consideration. Like you are trying to check the IQ level of the students and marks obtained in examination. Now we have two variables. Are these two variables related or unrelated? If these two variables are related, then what is the direction of their relationship that we try to understand? Whether they share positive relation or negative relation. It simply means if the score of one variable is going up, what effect does it make to the related variable? Whether it is also going up or it is going down. If increase in one variable leads to increase in the other related variable, we say that they share positive relationship, and vice versa. Now, once we are able to identify the direction of relationship and we understand, yes, they share the relationship, the variable under consideration shared some sort of relationship, it may be positive or negative, then what is the degree of association? Are they very closely associated or fairly associated or negligibly associated? It simply means what amount of uh, relationship do they share. This process is commonly known as correlation. You might have gone through in your classroom teaching. The correlation ranges from -1 to +1. When the correlation stands at around 0.9 or more than 8, we say that there is strong association between the variables. If it ranges around 6 to 8, we say that there is fair correlation between the variable and so on. Third thing, we may also interested in assessing the nature of the relationship, means the strength of association between the variable, means how much the extent to which one variable causes changes in another variable. Like if you are trying to understand the relationship between IQ level of a student and the marks scored by him, at what level of IQ, what should be the probable marks he can score. This nature of relationship is done through regression that we are going to take to. This is what is commonly known as regression analysis. So if I'm clear with the regression analysis, let us try to understand the definition, what definition says. It is a set of statistical method. As I said, there would be, for regression analysis, there must be at least two variables. And this variable must be measured in scale. A variable can be measured either in category or scale. If you are comfortable with the types of scale, let me tell you, category simply means the scale must be nominal or ordinal. If the measurement scale is interval and ratio, we call it scale. So for applying the regression analysis on the available data, the data must be in the scale form and not in nominal or not in category. So this is the basic requirement for applying regression analysis on the data. So as we are trying to understand the strength of relationship of one variable, the strength of relationship between the variable, it simply means that there would be some independent variable and dependent variable. In more simple words, there will be a variable that would be causing change in another variable. The variable that are causing change is independent variable, and the variable which receives the effect of independent variable is dependent variable. So what is regression analysis? Is nothing but estimation of the relationship between dependent variable and independent variable. And why do we do it? There is a simple reason behind establishing this relationship. What actually we try to do in the research, we try to get meaningful information out of this study. So if I'm trying to understand the effect of advertisement on sales revenue of a product, then I should able to establish a relationship through which I can predict that at what amount of advertisement expenditure, how much revenue can be generated. For establishing the prediction equation, we are supposed to formulate one trend line or equation. If you are bit comfortable in the regression analysis, you might be knowing the equation. y is equal to a plus bx. If we manage to establish this equation for a phenomena, we can predict the value of y at given x. Hope this much is clear to everyone. The basic concept of regression. Like if I able to formulate an equation between advertisement and sales revenue of a product, sales revenue of a product. So I can predict the sales revenue at given amount of advertisement. So okay, let me tell you at the beginning itself, whenever we are trying to formulate, this is called linear relation. Let me tell you, this is a kind of linear relation that two variable shares. Linear means the relation is straight line. There may be other sort of relationship that can be shared between the variable. There may be exponential relationship between the variable when a change in one variable can cause higher change in another variable, quadratic effect they may have, and so on. Now, in psychology or in business research, most of the time, in fact, I will say more than 99.99% time, we try to study the linear relationship between the variable. So this is the formula for linear equation, linear regression. But this formula is actually incomplete formula because this x cannot predict y with 100% accuracy. So there will be some error. There will be some error. Maybe I am going more technical. आप ऐसे समझ लो कि we are trying to understand the effect of advertisement on sales. It doesn't mean that the advertisement determines all the sales. And if you are formulating an equation to explain the relationship so that we can predict the amount of sale through the advertisement expenditure, we cannot do it with 100% accuracy. There must be some error. So this error term is very important for regression analysis. So in regression analysis, there will be a dependent variable and independent variable. This dependent variable observes effect of independent variable. Means this independent variable causes change in dependent variable. So one way, the basic difference in correlation analysis and regression analysis is that in correlation analysis, we do not consider the cause and effect relationship. Like we do not consider whether advertisement is affecting sales revenue of a product, or it is a sales revenue that is influencing the advertisement expenditure of an organization. That we do not consider in regression analysis. But when we talk of we do not consider it in correlation analysis. But when we talk of regression analysis, we try to establish causal relationship between the variable, whether advertisement is causing the sales revenue, or it is the sales revenue that determines the amount of advertisement expenditure. So this is all about the basic analysis of regression. Now, as I say, the regression may be simple or hierarchical, step, mediation, interaction, depending on the nature of the data, their relationship, and what we are trying to understand out of the data. Like if you are trying to understand the effect of counseling on stress level of a person. So what would be the probable relation? Greater the stress, greater the counseling, lesser will be the stress level of a person. This is what is called simple regression. Or in other words, uh, suppose you are trying to understand the relationship between organizational commitment of employee and his performance in the organization, it is a simple uh, regression analysis. There may be the chances that instead of taking one independent variable, you may consider several independent variable in this study. Like instead of understanding the effect of organizational commitment, leadership style, and job satisfaction on employee performance separately, you may take all these three variables together and try to understand its effect on employees performance in the organization. Uh, as most of the participants are from psychology, you may understand that stress level can be influenced by counseling, family support, workload, etc. In simple word, it is referred as multiple regression. So the regression analysis can be simple regression analysis or hierarchical analysis if the regression is multiple in nature, where you are trying to understand the effect of multiple independent variable on some dependent variable. Then you are supposed to find the importance of independent variable or the hierarchy with which independent variable affects dependent variable. For example, in this case, uh, if you are trying to understand the most important variable out of this which influences the performance of employee, you may go for hierarchical analysis or step analysis. Now, what is the difference in hierarchical analysis and step analysis? If you find in the literature that leadership style is the most effective variable in determining the employee's performance in the organization, you will take it at the first position. Now, literature says that the organizational commitment is another variable, important variable that influences the employee performance. You may take it at second position and third position. If you are doing the regression analysis with this approach, the approach is referred as hierarchical analysis. But if you are letting the computer, means software, decide which is the most important variable influencing employee performance in the organization, then the approach is referred as step. There is some modern concepts in regression analysis referred as mediation and moderation approach. Suppose you are trying to understand the relationship between exercise and weight of a person. Now you might be knowing that the greater the exercise, lesser will be the weight. किसी को वजन वजन कम करना है, एक्सरसाइज करे, वजन कम होगा. तो एक्सरसाइज डायरेक्टली इन्फ्लुएंसेस the weight reduction of a person. If you agree on it, then we need to understand the mechanism with which exercise actually reduces the weight. It is not actually the exercise that reduces the weight directly. This exercise causes burning of calories. This calorie burn may lead to reduction in the weight. So this calorie is mediating variable that explains the mechanism with which exercise influences weight. Just now we took the example of the effect of counseling on stress level. So counseling would be influencing the stress level of individual, but it is not the counseling that directly influences weight reduction. There may be the case that because of this counseling, the thought process of individual changes, and because of the changed thought process, there may be reduction in the stress level. So this is the mechanism with which counseling actually affects stress of an individual. This is referred as mediation process. This variable that explains the mechanism with which independent variable influences dependent variable is referred as moderating variable. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Okay. So hope you are clear with the mediating variable. There is another sort of relation that the variable can share. Suppose you are telling that it is the counseling that influences the stress level of a person. Stress level of a person. What is the role of gender in it? क्या ऐसा होगा कि if this counselor is female, the effect of counseling will be more on the patient, or if this patient is female, there is high chances of receiving the counseling, and hence a reduction in stress level. Simply means the variable that determines the strength of relationship, boundary condition, कितना ज्यादा और कितना कम इफेक्ट होगा इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल का डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल पे, is referred as interacting variable or moderating variable. If this third variable is categorical in nature, the variable is named as moderating variable. If it is scale or continuous variable, we refer it as interaction. So these are the basics of regression analysis. Now, how do we do it? Now we have certain data where and data is related. Now we have checked the direction of relationship and association of relationship. Now we are supposed to identify the strength of relationship. Means we have we have to go for regression analysis. But before applying the regression analysis tool on the data, there are certain assumptions that data must qualify for. These assumptions are normality, absence of autocorrelation, absence of multicollinearity, and homoscedasticity. These are the basic assumptions that data must qualify. Then only we can apply regression tool on it. Now, what is normality? Normality simply means the data must be normally distributed. Normally distributed. If you can recall, you might have gone through some bell-shaped curve while understanding the theory. So regression analysis can be applied on the data only if the data is normally distributed. Now, how to check whether the data is normally distributed or not? There are certain statistical tools with which we can check whether the data is normally distributed or not. The popular tests are Kolmogorov-Smirnov test, Shapiro-Wills test, but these two tests are rarely used in actual research paper and thesis, because uh, data to qualify this test is rare. So there is way out with which we can prove the normality of the data through skewness and kurtosis. Skewness kurtosis concept you might be knowing, जिसमें आपने देखा होगा कि ये तो नॉर्मल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है. स्क्यूड डेटा मीन्स ये किसी तरफ ये पीक टिल्ट हो जाएगा, तो इसको स्क्यूनेस कहते हैं. हाइट ऑफ दिस पीक इज kurtosis. तो रिकॉल कर लिया होगा आपने क्या होता है इसको स्क्यूनेस kurtosis. तो हम normally in the research paper and thesis you'll find that the normality of the data got established through the skewness and kurtosis value. Now, how do we do it in SPSS? As I have been asked by the madam to let the participant understand the software also, तो हम देखते हैं कि इसको सॉफ्टवेयर में कैसे एनालाइज करते हैं. Hope this SPSS sheet is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Madam, are the participants comfortable with SPSS?
Sir,
Do we have it in our syllabus?
sir, actually, no, it was there earlier, but now it's not there in the syllabus, but we do teach them as a part of our classes. And I think you know that Ashwini is going to take their session on Jamovi also, which is free software like SPSS only. So, but you can take SPSS, sir, and just if you can start with the how do you have the category and the variable view, so they would know how to feed it also.
Okay, so there is a process with which we feed the data in SPSS. I am not going in that. Someone will be taking how to feed the data. Once the data is fed in the SPSS, you'll find two sheets: data view and variable view. It is the actual research data that I have over which I am working, where I am trying to understand the effect of virtuous leadership on employees' performance. So for checking whether my data is valid for applying regression analysis, I need to check the first assumption, that is normal. For that, I will go in analysis, followed by descriptive statistics, explore, and these are the data. Now we go, I'll go in plot. If you go in statistics, confidence interval for mean is 99%. It is all right. When we go in plot, you'll find this normality plot with test. What is normality? Plots are nothing but the graphical representation through which we can assess whether the data is normally distributed or not. The another way is this test. Test, as I explained, there are two popular tests to analyze whether data is normally distributed or not: Kolmogorov-Smirnov and Sapir-Whorst. Now let us check the result. Now this is the outcome. I have taken 4 variables: subjective happiness, virtuous leadership, then self-reported individual performance, and work engagement as variable. These are tests with which we can check the normality. The significance label for both the tests should be more than 0.055, means it should be insignificant. Then only we can assume that the data is normally distributed. So if am I audible?
Sir, आपका voice थोड़ा बीच में I don't know miss हो रहा है. So sir, if you can repeat this.
Okay. So for the current research, I have taken 4 variables: subjective happiness, virtuous leadership, self-reported individual performance, and work engagement. And I'm trying to check the normality of the data. There are 2 tests, as I explained, that Kolmogorov-Smirnov and Sapir-Whorst test. To assume the data to be normal, the significant label should be more than 0.05. It should be more than 0.05, which is not there in the data. Now, what is next? Next is to check the skewness and kurtosis value of the data. If the kurtosis and skewness values of the data lies between +1 to -1, I'm repeating, if the skewness and kurtosis of the data lies between -1 to +1, we assume that data is normally distributed. Some scholars say that -1 to +1 range for skewness is all right, but for kurtosis, the value of kurtosis must be less than 3 times of standard error. मतलब ये standard error x है, तो ये 3x से कम होना चाहिए. वैसे मैं आज तक in any of the paper I didn't mention the this criteria that kurtosis value should be less than 3 times of its standard error. मैं simply लिखता हूँ कि skewness and kurtosis must lie between -1 to +1. As in my case, all the values of kurtosis and skewness is lying between -1 to +1. I consider my data as normally distributed. Now this is the graph. If you can recall, class में आपको बताया गया होगा normal distribution के लिए frequency बेल शेप की होनी चाहिए. इसमें दिख तो रहा है लेकिन परफेक्ट बेल शेप नहीं. Box plot is another method to verify whether the data is normally distributed or not. Are there some outliers क्या कुछ वैल्यूज बहुत ही ज्यादा हटके हो गई हैं, तो ये बॉक्स प्लॉट बता देता है। तो यू माइट बी सीइंग सम डेटा ओवर हियर। इसका मतलब है कि इस केस में सब्जेक्टिव हैप्पीनेस के स्कोर में सारी वैल्यू तो अराउंड 3 है, अराउंड 3 है। ये कुछ वैल्यू एकदम ही कम आ गई हैं, तो दीज वैल्यूज आर एक्चुअली आउटलायर्स। तो नॉर्मलिटी के लिए हम आउटलायर्स को कई बार एलिमिनेट कर देते हैं डेटा से, तो डेटा की डेटा मूव्स टुवर्ड नॉर्मल। So this is the practical method of evaluating whether the data is normally distributed or not. Now let us come back to the presentation. So this is the first condition, first assumption for applying regression analysis on the data. तो हम जैसे मैंने बताया कि while reporting it, we simply report that the data lies, the skewness and kurtosis value of the data lies between -1 to +1. Hence, I consider the data is considered to be normally distributed and suitable for regression analysis. Now, the second assumption is of absence of autocorrelation. Actually, regression analysis is applied on cross-sectional data only. I was listening Dr. Vibhas सेशन, उन्होंने बताया था कि क्रॉस सेक्शनल क्या होता है, एक्सपेरिमेंटल डेटा क्या होता है। व्हेन द डेटा इज कलेक्टेड एट अ सिंगल पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम फ्रॉम द रिस्पोंडेंट, हम कहते हैं डेटा क्रॉस सेक्शनल है। अगर सिंगल टाइम रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं लिया, एम आई ऑडिबल मैडम?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. If the data is not collected at single point of time, तो इसका मतलब है डेटा या तो लॉन्गिट्यूडनल इन नेचर है या एक्सपेरिमेंटल है। अगर हम एक ही सैंपल का बार बार मेजरमेंट करते हैं तो हम कहते हैं लॉन्गिट्यूडनल डेटा है। लाइक सपोज यू आर ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड द इफेक्ट ऑफ सम ट्रेनिंग सेशन ऑन द पार्टिसिपेंट्स। तो हम जब पार्टिसिपेंट्स आते हैं तो उनका लेवल ऑफ नॉलेज चेक कर लिया। वंस दे आर गॉन थ्रू द ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम, उनका सेम सेट ऑफ सैंपल का दूसरी बार मेजरमेंट कर लिया, दूसरा सेट ऑफ ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम चलाया, फिर उसी सेट का तीसरी बार मेजरमेंट कर लिया, तो उसको कहते हैं लॉन्गिट्यूड। अगर सैंपल बदल रहा है बार बार और मेजरमेंट भी मल्टीपल टाइम हो रहा है, तो हम कहते हैं कि ये तो एक्सपेरिमेंटल डेटा है। जैसे सपोज आई एम ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड की हैबिट ऑफ कोल्ड ड्रिंक ड्रिंकिंग अमॉन्ग द यूथ। तो एक मैं पैटर्न समझना चाहता हूँ कि क्या कोल्ड ड्रिंक के कंजम्पशन का पैटर्न यंगस्टर्स में चेंज हो रहा है। तो आज मैंने डेटा ले लिया यंगस्टर्स का कि वो कितना कंज्यूम करते हैं, उनकी लाइकिंग डिसलाइकिंग क्या है। 5 साल बाद फिर से उसी एज ग्रुप का मैंने डेटा ले लिया, फिर 10 साल बाद सेम एज ग्रुप का फिर से मैंने कंजम्पशन पैटर्न समझने की कोशिश की, तो एक्सपेरिमेंट। तो फॉर अप्लाइंग द रिग्रेशन एनालिसिस द डेटा शुड बी क्रॉस सेक्शनल इन नेचर। Now, how can we know whether the data is cross sectional or time series? Multiple time में डेटा लिया गया है किसी इंडिविजुअल का, ये ऐसा डेटा है या क्रॉस सेक्शनल डेटा है, ये समझने के लिए there is a test called Durbin-Watson test. कैसे करते हैं? I am not going in autopsy of the process. Simply reporting अप्रोच के लिए मैं बता रहा हूँ कि you are supposed to check the Durbin-Watson value of the data. Now, how to find out the Durbin-Watson value? The process is very simple. We need to go in analysis, then regression analysis, then statistics. In statistics, we should check the Durbin-Watson test. Let us go back to the SPSS2. I hope this sheet is visible now.
Yes, sir.
So for checking the multicollinearity, autocorrelation, we go in analysis. In analyze, we go in regression. In regression, as I said in the beginning itself, that we are trying to understand linear regression. We need to go in linear. In linear, window pop-ups where you are supposed to feed the data from the data set. In independent variable, as in my study, I am taking virtuous leadership style, work engagement, and subjective happiness as independent variable and trying to understand its effect on self-reported individual performance. I have put the self-reported individual performance in independent variable and taken other variable in as independent variable. In statistics, there is a term Durbin-Watson. You'll find it linear regression statistics in SPSS. You are supposed to simply check it. After checking the Durbin-Watson test, if you run the data in the model summary itself, you will find the value. If this value is between 1 to 3, it means your data is cross-sectional in nature. Otherwise, it is not cross-sectional data and not eligible for regression analysis. Hope this process is clear. I'm bit fast because time is short. फिर भी किसी को अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम आएगी तो आप पूछ सकते हो. Let us go back to our presentation. So now we understand how to check the Durbin-Watson value through SPSS. So this is the second assumption of the data. Third assumption is about multicollinearity. What is multicollinearity? It is nothing but the relationship among the independent variable of the data. Independent variable. Like suppose you are trying to understand the effect of organizational commitment of employee, leadership style and job satisfaction on his performance. तो ऐसा तो नहीं है कि ये जो इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल हैं ये आपस में ही स्ट्रांगली रिलेटेड हो, स्ट्रांगली रिलेटेड हो. अगर ऐसा है तो ये तो सेपरेट वेरिएबल है ही नहीं, फिर तो एक ही है. तो हम अलग अलग नाम कैसे कह सकते हैं कि ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल कमिटमेंट है, ये लीडरशिप स्टाइल है और ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल जॉब सेटिस्फेक्शन ऑफ एम्प्लॉई है. तो इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल हाईली कोरिलेटेड तो नहीं है, उसको चेक करने के लिए वी चेक दी मल्टीकोलिनियरिटी ऑफ द डेटा. तो आप समझ गए होंगे ये तभी अप्लाई होगा जब वी हैव मोर देन 2 इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल. अगर हमारे पास एक ही इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल है एंड वी आर ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड द इफेक्ट ऑफ दैट वेरिएबल on some dependent variable, multicollinearity apply नहीं होगा. इसके लिए we need to have at least 2 independent. तो ये इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल में आपस में हाई कोरिलेशन तो नहीं, वो चेक करने के लिए we apply, we test. In SPSS, we simply यहां तक तो सबको क्लियर ही हो गया था. In statistics, there is a place where you will find collinearity diagnostic. We are supposed to check. जैसे ही आपने चेक किया और अब एनालाइज किया, तो इन कोएफिशिएंट you will find collinearity statistics. In collinearity statistics, we need to check VIF value. If this VIF value is below 5, then we assume that there is absence of collinearity, multicollinearity in the data. अगर नहीं qualify करता है, then there is problem. So this is the second assumption that you are supposed to check. कैसे करते हैं मैंने पीपीटी में लिख दिया है, जो बहुत कंफर्टेबल अभी तक नहीं हो रहा है वो ये सिंपल स्टेप भी फॉलो कर देगा, तो यू विल रीच टू दी VIF value. So this VIF value should be less than 5. In some cases I have studied that this VIF value may range beyond 5 but should be less than 10. If the value is less than 10, we assume that there is absence of multicollinearity in the data. Normally, जब मैं पेपर लिखता हूँ, तो I consider the highest limit 5 per VIF. So this is the third assumption, that your data is supposed to qualify. Then finally, homoscedasticity. Homoscedasticity का मतलब है कि वेरिएंस देयर वुड बी, मैंने पहले ही बताया था आपको, इफ यू कैन रिकॉल, whenever we propose equation based on analysis, it goes like this: y is equal to a plus bx but the independent variable cannot explain 100% variation of dependent variable, so there must be some error variable. With this error variance is normally known as error or residual in the data. तो ये रेसिडुअल जो बच जाता है, जिसको x एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पाता है, क्या ये एरर वेरिएंस इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल से किसी तरह का रिलेशन तो नहीं शेयर कर रहा है? दैट वी नीड टू चेक. इसी को कहते हैं होमोस्कैडिस्टिसिटी, द रिलेशन बिटवीन द नॉइज एरर विथ इंडिपेंडेंट. कोई रिलेशन तो शेयर नहीं कर रहा है, उसको चेक कैसे करें? उसको चेक करने का सिंपलेस्ट मेथड है स्कैटर्ड प्लॉट. स्कैटर्ड प्लॉट नॉर्मली आपने देखा होगा, एक प्लॉट ऐसे होता है जिसको स्कैटर्ड प्लॉट कहते हैं. तो स्कैटर्ड प्लॉट से ही हम चेक करते हैं. अब SPSS में कैसे चेक करें? तो 2 स्टेप है. सबसे पहले आपको लीनियर रिग्रेशन में जाके स्टैंडर्ड रेसिडुअल क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा, एक नया सीरीज. अब इस नए रेसिडुअल से हम ये चेक करते हैं कि क्या ये रेसिडुअल किसी भी इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल के साथ कोई रिलेशन तो नहीं स्टैब्लिश कर रहा है. तो सेकेंड स्टेप में वी प्लॉट दी स्कैटर्ड ग्राफ. Now, how do we do it in SPSS? Let us try. तो यहाँ तक तो सबको क्लियर था, कैसे कैसे यहाँ तक पहुँचते हैं, फिर से बता दूं. Hope this SPSS sheet is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
मैं क्वेश्चन इसलिए भी पूछ लेता हूँ कि मुझे भी पता चलते रहे कि ऑनलाइन हूँ मैं. हम एनालाइज में गए, then regression followed by linear, we reach to this window. इसमें हमको सिंपली सेव में जाना होता है और here you will find residual. In residual we check standardized. What is unstandardized residual, what is standardized residual, try to understand some other time. अभी तो सिर्फ इतना ही कर लेते हैं कि स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड रेसिडुअल ही हम लोग को देखना है. जैसे ही मैं सेव करके और ये रिग्रेशन एनालिसिस रन करता हूं, मेरे पास एक अलग से भी वेरिएबल आ जाता है डेटा शीट में. डेटा शीट में अलग से वेरिएबल आ जाता है जेड स्कोर. विजिबल है सबको?
जी सर, विजिबल.
अब ये फर्स्ट स्टेप. सेकेंड स्टेप में we go to graph followed by legacy dialog, and in legacy dialog scattered plot. We take simple scattered plot, and in y-axis we always put standardized residual. अब इसके साथ किसी भी वेरिएबल का, जैसे मैंने अभी वर्क एंगेजमेंट ले लिया और चेक करता हूँ कि क्या वर्क एंगेजमेंट का कोई रिलेशन है स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड रेसिडुअल के साथ. तो आप देखिए क्या कोई पैटर्न बन रहा है इस रेसिडुअल में? तो आंसर है नो. कभी कभी क्या होगा, यू विल फाइंड दैट एज द score of work engagement or this independent variable is going high, रेसिडुअल भी हाई हो रहा है. तो स्कैटर प्लॉट में एक अपवर्ड लाइन सा दिखेगा या डाउनवर्ड लाइन सा दिखेगा. समटाइम्स फनल भी बन जाता है कि अगर स्कोर कम है तो रेसिडुअल का स्कैटर्डनेस कम है, और जैसे जैसे डब्ल्यू बढ़ रहा है, मतलब इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल की वैल्यू बढ़ रही है, इनका वेरिएंस भी बढ़ रहा है. तो फनल शेप, अगर किसी भी तरह का शेप यहाँ ऑब्जर्व होता है तो इसका मतलब देयर इज द इशू ऑफ होमोस्कैडिस्टिसिटी इन दी डेटा, अदरवाइज नॉट. तो जैसे इसमें ये क्लीन है, होमोस्कैडिस्टिसिटी का केस नहीं है. तो these are the 4 assumptions that you need to check and report whenever you are applying a regression analysis in your data. The basic assumptions. Now, how to report the analysis? तो regression analysis में अब इतना तो आप क्लियर हो गए होंगे कि करते क्या है. तो सिंपली regression analysis करने के लिए after check validating the assumption of regression analysis, we actually run regression analysis. We go in regression, linear, and as I said, I am working on paper where I have taken 3 independent variable and trying to check the effect of this variable on individual performance. In statistics, I check multicollinearity, Durbin-Watson, In plot, I may plot, otherwise not, and run the data. Once I run the data, first I find model summary. Model summary includes the value of R, R square, and adjusted R square, which is very important to report. R square value is nothing but the in technically it is called coefficient of determinants. Simple word में समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. We are trying to understand the effect of advertisement on sales revenue of a product. Advertisement किसी भी product के suppose the sale of this product को कितना influence करता है, that we are trying to understand. ये R square value ये बताएगा कि how much variation in the sales revenue of this pen occurs because of the rate of this pen. If I am trying to understand the effect of price on the sales revenue, or suppose advertisement on sales revenue, तो advertisement की वजह से इस product के sale में कितना up down हो रहा है, ये R square बताता है, coefficient of determination in simple. तो ये adjusted R square क्या है? Actually, adjusted R square is applicable where we have more than one independent variable. So जैसे जैसे variable, it is not that the sale of this pen get determined by the advertisement or price of the product. There are number of variables that influences the sales revenue, like salesman's ability, people's taste and preference, then region sometimes influences the sales of product. कोल्ड ड्रिंक का सेल देख रहे हैं, उसमें प्राइस भी बहुत रीजनेबल है, सेल्समैन एबिलिटी भी बहुत अच्छी है, टेस्ट एंड प्रेफरेंस भी लोगों का मैच करता है, सपोर्ट करता है कोल्ड ड्रिंक के सेल्स को, लेकिन जगह बहुत ठंडी है तो हो सकता है सेल्स इतना ना है. तो एज एंड व्हेन वी keep on adding the independent data in the analysis, the R value goes up. ये बढ़ते रहेगा R square value. लेकिन there will be a stage where addition of another variable may not increase R square substantially. That can be checked to this adjusted R square. So वेरिएबल आप ऐड करते जा रहे हैं और एडजस्टेड आर स्क्वायर की वैल्यू बढ़ते जा रही है, इसका मतलब कि जो एडिशनल वेरिएबल है वो सब्सटेंशियली कॉज कर रहा है डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल के चेंज, अदरवाइज नॉट. तो इसलिए हम समटाइम्स वी रिपोर्ट एडजस्टेड आर स्क्वायर वैल्यू आल्सो, प्रेफरेबली व्हेन वी गो फॉर स्टेप रिग्रेशन और हायरार्किकल रिग्रेशन. इफ यू कैन रिकॉल, मैंने बताया था कि 4 इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल हैं अगर और किसी एक वेरिएबल को इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें सबसे इफेक्टिव वेरिएबल कौन सा है, फिर उसके बाद कौन सा है, फिर उसके बाद कौन सा है, तो स्टेप रिग्रेशन. तो स्टेप रिग्रेशन में नॉर्मली हम एडजस्टेड आर स्क्वायर रिपोर्ट करते ही. अब दूसरा एक टेबल आता है अनोवा, मॉडल फिट कॉन्सेप्ट. आप ढेर सारी बुक्स पढ़ते रहिए, वो कभी क्लियर नहीं होता कि व्हाट इज मॉडल फिट. मॉडल फिट इज बेसिकली द एक्सटेंट टू व्हिच योर डेटा इज सपोर्टिंग योर हाइपोथेसाइज्ड मॉडल. जैसे आपको विभास सर ने बताया कि बेस्ड ऑन द लिटरेचर रिव्यू वी एस्टैब्लिशेस सर्टेन रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द वेरिएबल. जैसे मैं अपने स्टडी में कह रहा हूँ कि द वर्चुअस leadership style that influences individual performance in the organization. तो क्या मेरा डेटा भी इस बात को सपोर्ट कर रहा है, the extent to which my data fits to the assumption, को मॉडल फिट कहते हैं. अब बहुत एडवांस टूल आ गए हैं उसको मॉडल फिट को चेक करने के लिए, लेकिन SPSS तो ये रिलेशन का स्क्वायर में ही चेक करता है और सिग्निफिकेंस का मतलब है कि ठीक है. true है, क्योंकि there is an advanced tool available to check the model fit of the proposed model. We rarely use this chi-square test, क्योंकि chi-square की value get influenced by the size of data. डेटा कम होगा तो सिग्निफिकेंट ही आएगा, इनसिग्निफिकेंट आएगा। जैसे ही 400 को डेटा क्रॉस करेगा, अनोवा की वैल्यू हमेशा मतलब काई स्क्वायर की वैल्यू हमेशा सिग्निफिकेंट आती है। इसलिए हम सिर्फ काई स्क्वायर पे बिलीव न करके देयर आर सर्टेन अदर स्टैटिस्टिक्स व्हिच वी चेक इन द डेटा। वो जब हम कंफर्मेटरी फैक्टर एनालिसिस करते हैं तो उसमें भी डेटा आता है, उसके लिए एक अलग प्रोसेस है। यहाँ तो हम इसको अनोवा टेबल को इसलिए रिग्रेशन एनालिसिस के रिपोर्टिंग में जगह नहीं देते। फाइनली द कोएफिशिएंट व्हिच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इफ वी आर सपोज्ड टू रिपोर्ट। अब इसमें देखते क्या है, तो हम देखेंगे बीटा की वैल्यू, रिग्रेशन कोएफिशिएंट जिसको कहते हैं। This beta value, there are two separate beta coefficient that we get in SPSS: unstandardized beta and standardized beta. While reporting the analysis, regression analysis, we quote this standardized coefficient only. But when we are asked to write the equation जो मैंने बताया था y is equal to a plus b bx, तो वहां पे b की वैल्यू अनस्टैंडर्डाइज्ड इक्वेशन में अनस्टैंडर्डाइज्ड वैल्यू ही लिखते हैं। तो अनस्टैंडर्डाइज्ड वैल्यू is quoted only while writing the equation। लेकिन हमारा तो assumption ये था कि virtuous leadership significantly influences self-reported individual performance। तो इसकी वैल्यू आ रही है -1.0 सॉरी -0.040, जिसकी टी वैल्यू -1.002 है एंड सिग्निफिकेंस लेवल 0.0 से ज्यादा है। It is greater than 0.05, hence the effect of this virtuous leadership on individual performance is insignificant. Let me repeat. तो क्या मेरा assumption ही शुरू से ही गलत हो गया? नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होगा। जैसे मैं अगर बाकी के वेरिएबल को रिमूव कर दूं and if I just try to understand the effect of virtuous leadership on individual performance, let us check the result। अब रिजल्ट क्या आ रहा है? अब रिजल्ट आ रहा है कि virtuous leadership इंडिविजुअल परफॉर्मेंस को सिग्निफिकेंटली इन्फ्लुएंस करता है। वैल्यू चेंज हो गई। अभी तो हमने देखा था कि इफेक्ट ऑफ वर्चुअस लीडरशिप वाज इनसिग्निफिकेंट, और जैसे ही हमने ये वर्क एंगेजमेंट एंड सब्जेक्टिव हैप्पीनेस को रिमूव कर दिया डेटा से, अब वर्चुअस लीडरशिप का इफेक्ट इंडिविजुअल परफॉर्मेंस पे सिग्निफिकेंट आ रहा है। इसका मतलब है कि these variables are means in presence of subjective happiness and work engagement of employee, the effect of virtuous leadership becomes insignificant। So I assume that you are understanding the concept। हालांकि मैं बता दूं कि मेरी स्टडी में ये है कि मैं ये अज्यूम कर रहा हूँ कि दिस वर्चुअस लीडरशिप एक्चुअली इन्फ्लुएंसेस वर्क एंगेजमेंट ऑफ एम्प्लॉय एंड सब्जेक्टिव हैप्पीनेस, व्हिच अल्टीमेटली इन्फ्लुएंसेस इंडिविजुअल परफॉर्मेंस। सो दिस वर्क एंगेजमेंट एंड subjective happiness is actually determining the mechanism of effect of subjective happiness on individual performance. So this is how we check the coefficient of regression. Now, how do we report it? हम report कैसे करते हैं इसको? तो report करने के लिए we simply need to write the normality of the data. Then we are supposed to report the value of Durbin-Watson test, BIF. This is optional. If you are reporting the homoscedasticity, it is good. If you are not reporting, that will also suffice the purpose. Because I didn't report this homoscedasticity of the data in any of my paper. लेकिन ये तीन वैल्यू तो दिखाना ही पड़ता है. And once you reported these three values, simply means your data qualifies for regression analysis. And after conducting the test, this way we report the effect. जैसे मेरा assumption था अगर ये कि virtuous leadership individual performance को significantly influence करता है, so I will write that between virtuous leadership and individual performance a substantial positive effect was found, and this key value I will report, and hence the assumption is supported, means the hypothesis is confirmed, validated. So this way we report regression analysis. Let me tell you that nowadays, instead of going for a simple regression, we try to explain the mechanism with which independent variable influences dependent variable and the boundary condition, the limit of the effect of independent variable on dependent variable, means this moderation and mediation effect. So this paper mein you are taking the mediation moderation get high chances of acceptance in good journals. तो फिर कभी मौका मिला तो definitely I will try to go for this mediation and moderation. So that's all from my side. Now the queries are invited.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful session. And there's one person who's written a query that would a single pre-post test data collection be considered longitudinal?
Pre-post, yes, it is longitudinal. I said longitudinal is the data where the multiple measurement is done on single sample. If group remains constant and we measure certain variable on the same group multiple times, it is longitudinal.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Okay, so another person is saying, can you please repeat step multivariate regression, if possible?
Multivariate?
Step multivariate regression.
Okay. I had actually planned to omit it. Hope this SPSS sheet is visible to you.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Now we go to the up to this stage. Hope everyone is clear. how to reach to this window in SPSS. Once you are reached here, in method, we are simply supposed to go to stepwise regression. Instead of enter, we go for stepwise regression. That's all. Now, if you run the data, you get the finding like this. Now, there will be, let me repeat. In the first step, the software has taken a subjective happiness, excluding the virtuous leadership and work engagement from the regression analysis. And it says that if you are taking the subjective happiness, the effect of these two variable becomes ineffective, insignificant. If you check it separately, if you are trying to understand the effect of virtuous leadership on individual performance, work engagement on individual performance, you'll find that every variable, independent variable, is significant to the individual performance. But if you are taking all these three variables together, then in presence of subjective happiness, the other two variable becomes insignificant. अगर ऐसा होता कि सपोज वर्क एंगेजमेंट भी सिग्निफिकेंट होता, तो ये सॉफ्टवेयर सेकंड मॉडल भी क्रिएट करता वेयर it would have taken subjective happiness and work engagement together, eliminating the virtuous leadership. तो ये एक स्टेप में ही प्रोसेस एंड कर रहा है, because in presence of subjective happiness, the other two variable becomes insignificant. Other two variable becomes insignificant. Suppose if you are taking multiple variable into consideration, ऐसे example के लिए देख लेते हैं. Let us suppose that I am taking several independent variable in the study and go for step regression. Then we come with the three different models. सबसे पहले work engagement is very important, is having highest impact. At the second step, with work engagement, virtuous leadership comes in picture. And thirdly, the prudence comes in picture. The rest of the variable becomes insignificant. Rest of the variable becomes insignificant. This is how step regression is done and reported. You might be seeing that there are three different models. In model 1, the software is assessing the impact of work engagement, which has this coefficient level 0.54 and is significant. In the second step, the second variable enters into picture, which is virtuous leadership. So virtuous leadership is the second most important variable in the study that influences individual performance. And at third place, along with this work engagement, virtuous leadership, prudence comes in picture, which has significant influence. And rest of the variable, अगर कुछ है और मॉडल में नहीं आ रहा है, इसका मतलब कि in presence of this three variables, the effect of other variable becomes insignificant. This is how the step regression is done.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So another query is that how to minimize the error value and how to figure it out that it is a major predictor in the equation.
How to minimize
the error value, error value.
Okay, so there are several techniques with which regression analysis is done. It might be a bit more technical, but let me tell you that when we carry out the regression analysis in SPSS, it works on ordinary least square method, OLS method. When we try to carry out the same regression analysis with AMOS, it uses MLE method, maximum likelihood estimation. And nowadays, you might be come across the word smart PLS. There is a software called smart PLS. This smart PLS carries out regression analysis using partial least square method. So when you are using partial least square method in analysis of regression, we are not supposed to go for the assumption that we have gone through just now. So to minimize the amount of residual, we are supposed to make the appropriate regression equation. तो मैंने बताया कि अभी तो लीनियर रिग्रेशन हम पढ़ रहे हैं, इसके अलावा भी कई अलग तरीके से भी प्रेडिक्शन हो सकती है. एक्सपोनेंशियल रिग्रेशन देख सकते हैं, क्वाड्रेटिक रिग्रेशन देख सकते हैं. तो जो भी सुटेबल होगा, जिसमें एरर रेसिडुअल मिनिमम होगा, दैट अप्रोच भी अप्लाई. दूसरा रीजन होता है जब हमारे पास रेसिडुअल हाई हो जाता है, वो होता है आउटलेयर्स की वजह से. तो we try to check through the box plot whether there lies some outliers. By removing the outliers, we can minimize the error variance.
All right, sir. Next query is that do we report both KS test and Shapiro-Wilk test while assessing normality, as one of them is for small sample and another is for large sample?
Most of the time, as I said, I have authored so many papers for very good journals, and nowhere I have reported Kolmogorov-Smirnov or Shapiro-Wilk test. Simply, I check the skewness and kurtosis of the data, and depending on the value of kurtosis and the skewness, I assume that the data is normally distributed. So I will advise, instead of going so much deep in analyzing the normality of data, the simple way out is to check the skewness and kurtosis value of the data.